Okay, so for today we'll start the second part of our chapter 1. Alright, so the second part we are talking about the polynomial. Okay, and then what is the learning outcome for this part is you need to know how to do the division of a polynomial and the degree not exceeding 4. So for A-level exam, right, the highest degree, the highest power for the polynomial, they set it as 4. The highest is 4. Okay, by a linear or quadratic polynomial and identify the quotient and remainder, which may be 0. Okay, then after that you need to know how to use the factor theorem and remainder theorem to answer the question. Okay, to answer the question if they want you to find out, like find out the coefficients, find out the remainder or whatsoever. Right, so this is the learning outcome that you need to know for this whole part, the polynomial part. Okay, so let's start with some very basic introduction about polynomial first. Okay, so for polynomial, you will see that it is actually something like the extension of quadratic equation become the higher power. Like quadratic equation is power 2, right? So for polynomial, we have maybe power 3, power 4, and higher power. Okay, so we call it as polynomial. And there are a few things that you need to know. For any polynomial, right, all the power of the x must be non-negative integer. All the power, okay, must be non-negative integer. So that's the first thing that you need to know. And after that, the number of a, the coefficient in front of all the x, are real numbers. Real numbers means numbers can be a fraction, it can be negative number, it can be positive number, and so on. Okay, and then n is very important. The number n we call it as degree of the polynomial. And then the number in front of all the x, we call them as coefficients. So all these are some very basic terms that you need to know. Okay, therefore polynomial with low degree have special names. Like degree 0 is a constant. So as example, if let's say I'm having y, let's say y equals 3. So this is a constant. Okay, and then for any polynomial with degree 1, we call as linear polynomial. Okay, or linear function. So as example, if let's say I'm having y equals to 3x plus 2. So this is the linear function or linear equation. Okay, when you are having degree 2, we call them as quadratic polynomial, where we learned it before, which is something like highest power is x squared, then maybe 4x plus 1, something like this. So we call this as quadratic equation or quadratic polynomial. Then power 3 is cubic. So let's say I'm having x power 3 plus 1. So we call this as the cubic equation. And of course, the highest degree in our syllabus is x power 4. So let's say I'm having x power 4 plus x squared plus 2. So we call it a quadratic equation or quadratic polynomial. So all these are quite basic and you need to know some very basic terms. Alright, okay. So now for the example, there are some examples of non-polynomial. So let's say you are having the fraction, power of fraction, like square root, okay, in your terms. That means this one is not the polynomial. And then if you are having negative power, it is also not the polynomial. Or you're having something with square root, also not the polynomial. Alright, so polynomial, the definition is very straightforward. That means it must be whole number, the integer, non-negative integer. It can be 0, power 1, power 2, and so on. Okay, right, so for all the polynomial, when you want to deal with addition, subtraction, and also multiplication, they are all very easy. Okay, so that means you are using, when you want to add two polynomials together, then you just add x squared with x squared together, x power 3 with x power 3 together, terms with constant together, or maybe x power 4 with x power 4 together. Okay, subtraction also the same thing. Then multiplication, you expand. Okay, expand two bracket. It is a multiplication of the polynomial, and just that maybe the step is a bit long. Okay, all right. So for part A until D, right, it is actually very basic. So I'm not going to discuss it with you. I will just provide you the final answer here. So you have to complete this. Okay, so you try out on your own. So they give you the px, they give the qx. How are you going to find out the p plus q? All right, so you just add them together and see whether you get all these answers correctly or not. Okay, so this is the answer for part A. And then for part B, the answer for part B is something like this. Okay, then answer for part C. All right, and then answer for part D. So answer for part D, it might be a bit long because you need to expand every single term. Final answer should be this one. All right, so just make sure that you know how to do all these basic operation for polynomials first. Addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Okay, so if you have any problem to get the answer, please let me know. All right, so it's very basic, like it's kindergarten level, so you should be able to do it. Okay, all right, so now, if you continue further, then you have a look here. Okay, so they are talking about, there are some important things that you need to know, okay, about the polynomial here. So just now we talk about degree, right? Degree means the highest power of the x in a polynomial, so we call it as degree. Okay, so you need to know that when px is the polynomial of degree m and qx is the polynomial of degree n, then the product means the multiplication of these two polynomial is degree m plus n. So we can take our example here. What's the meaning of this one? Okay, so you can have a look at our px is degree 4. The highest power is 4, right? So it is degree 4. And then the qx is degree 2. Okay, then if you look at part D, so for part D, they are multiplying px, p and q together, right? So when you multiply two polynomials together, this one is degree 4, this one is degree 2. The answer that you get is with degree 4 plus 2, which is equals to degree 6. Okay, this is something basic, but you should know about it. All right, so when you multiply two polynomials together, the answer that you get, the degree is actually the degree p plus degree q. Okay, it is quite basic, but make sure you know how what do you have, what's the degree that you have when you multiply two polynomials together. Okay, all right, so all these are some very basic operation of maths and also the basic terms that you should know about the polynomial. Okay, so you can see that here we include addition, subtraction, and also multiplication. Okay, where is the division? All right, so division, you need more skills to do the division. All right, where we will cover this in the next video. So for this video is pretty short. All right, so what you need to do is like just go and complete this example 5. All right,